India's foreign trade. Introduction. Foreign trade of a country refers to its import and export of merchandise from and to other countries under contract of sale. No country in the world produces all the commodities it requires. The commodities which country produces in surplus it exports, while those producing in deficit it imports. In short, foreign trade refers to exchange of goods and services between two or more different countries. Such trade is also known as international trade. Foreign trade is of two types: import, export. Import. If the seller is abroad and the buyer is in the home country, exchange of goods between them is called import. Export. If the seller is in the home country and the purchaser is abroad, exchange of goods between them is called export. Foreign trade can be classified into two categories according to the visibility of the products, such as visible and invisible trade. A trade which can be seen, that is, exchange of goods, merchandise, is a visible trade, whereas exchange of services between the purchaser and seller is invisible trade, that is, technical support, insurance, etc. Features of foreign trade are as follows: involvement of different monetary units, imposition of restrictions in import and export by various countries, imposition of restrictions on release of foreign currencies, existence of multiple regulation. In this episode, the following aspects are highlighted: India's export profile, India's import profile, export-import policy, India's foreign trade policies, Exim Bank. India's trade profile. In the last decade, trade with the rest of the world has been buoyant, registering robust growth. While the value of trade has increased considerably, the composition of trade remains little changed and direction of trade registered with considerable growth from 2003 to 2013. Export profile of India. This line graph shows India's exports between 2003 to 2013 in billions US dollars. Export growth. Indian exports have grown at a robust annual average rate of 21.3% between 2003 and 2013. The value of exports rising from US dollars 52.7 billion in 2003 to 300.2 billion in 2013. We can notice that the export value of 2013 comes marginally lower than the peak of USD 305.7 billion recorded in 2012, consequent on global demand drying up to certain extent in the face of economic uncertainty and moderation in global growth. Export of commodity from India from the year 2003 to 2013. The bar graph shows a comparative picture of commodity composition of Indian exports between 2003 and 2013. Agricultural and allied products have registered high growth of 22.2% and stood at USD 40.6 billion in 2013. Major agricultural and allied commodities exported by India include basmati rice, marine products, meat and meat products, oil meals, spices, wheat and sugar. At USD 183.6 billion in 2013, manufactured goods have registered growth of 18.4%. Major manufactured goods exported by India include engineering goods, chemicals and related products, textiles and ready-made garments. The export of ores and minerals has grown by 12.1% to stand at USD 60.2 billion in 2013. Export of other commodities has grown by 1.2 to 10.3 USD from 2003 to 2013. The detailed description of major export items of India from 2003 to 2013 are listed below. The export of agriculture and allied products in 2003 was 6,708 million USD and it went up to 40,612 million USD in 2013. Under agriculture and allied products, we have basmati rice, raw cotton, guar gum meal, marine products, meat and preparations, oil meals, spices, sugar and wheat. Export of ores and minerals stood at 1,995 million USD in 2003 and soared to 5,554 million USD in 2013. Under ores and minerals, iron ore and processed minerals are also exported. Manufactured goods exports was 40,232 million USD in 2003 and was 1,83,583 million USD in 2013, under which leather and leather products, chemicals and related products, drugs and pharmaceuticals, engineering goods, metal products, transport equipments, electronic goods, textiles, ready-made garments, other manufactured goods, gems and jewelry are also exported. Petroleum and crude products stood at 2,576 million USD in 2003 and went up to 60,180 million USD in 2013. Export of other commodities was 1,192 million USD in 2003 and went to 10,286 million USD in 2013. Total exports of the country amounts to 52,703 million USD in 2003, which has shot up to 3,215 million USD in 2013. Direction of exports. India's largest export partner has been Asia. Exports to Asia have grown by more than 23% from USD 22.2 billion in 2003 to USD 150.4 billion in 2013. The next largest export destination is Europe, followed by America. We can notice the shift towards trade rising within the Asian zone, comparing the direction of exports in 2003 with that in 2013. As of 2013, share of Asia in India's export rose to more than half, that is 50.1%, when compared with that in 2003, which was 42.2%. Although trade with Europe and America has risen over the 10-year period, under consideration their share in overall exports has declined. Share of exports to Europe declined from 25.7% in 2003 to 19.6% in 2013, while that of America came down from 24.6% in 2003 to 17.8% in 2013. Coupled with increased trade integration with Asia, this shift of export direction away from America and Europe may be attributed to the moderation in economic activity in these countries, which has caused import demand from these countries to contract. Direction of exports in the year 2013 in USD billion. The direction of export in the year 2013 is represented in this bar graph. This graph represents the total export of India to other countries. The total export of the country stands at 300.2 USD, in which 53.4 of export with America, 150.4 with Asia, 58.8 with Europe, 29.1 with Africa, 2.7 with Oceania. With Antarctica, it is 0 and 5.7% with other countries. Imports profile of India. Import growth. As a growing country, India's import demand has consistently been on the rise. Barring a marginal dip in the year of recession in 2010, when imports fell from USD 299.3 billion to USD 287.6 billion. Imports to the country have always been on the rise. In the last decade, import growth has been high at 26.0% from USD 61.4 billion in 2003 to USD 490.3 billion in 2013. India's imports between 2003 to 2013 in USD billion is shown in this line graph. Import of commodity to India from other countries, a comparison between 2003 to 2013. Commodity imports of the country are classified as petroleum and non-petroleum items. Import of petroleum items has grown at 28.5% from 2003 to 2013, that is from USD 17.6 billion in 2003 to USD 169 billion in 2013. Non-petroleum items, on the other hand, have grown by 24.8% over this period to stand at USD 321.3 billion in 2013, which was 43.8 in 2003. Petroleum and crude products and non-petroleum imports in USD billion is shown in this bar graph. Further, composition breakdown of non-petroleum items is provided in this bar graph. The share of other non-petroleum items has been large. This comprises major import items such as gold and silver, coal, pearls and semi-precious stones, metal ferrous ores and metal scraps and electronic goods. The other major segment in capital goods imports, the share of which has been rather stable at 13.1% in 2003 and 12.3% in 2013. Under the food and related items segment, imports are concentrated in pulses and vegetable oil imports. The share of both food items and textile items remains small in the country's overall import composition. India's major import items. The table highlights importance of import commodity group, other non-petroleum items comprising major import items such as gold, silver, coal, coke, electronics, precious and semi-precious stones, etc. The detailed description of major import items to India in USD million are discussed. The total import of petroleum and crude products was 17,634 million USD in 2003 and 1,69,046 million USD in 2013. Non-petroleum items import stood at 43,759 million USD in 2003 and soared to 3,21,283 million USD in 2013. Imports of food and related items was at 2,692 million USD at 2003 and went up to 15,852 million USD, which includes pulses, fruits and nuts and vegetable oils. Textiles import was 970 million USD in 2003 and 4,000 million USD in 2013, under which man-made filament or spun yarn are also included. Chemical and related products import was at 4,803 million USD in 2003, which shot up to 35,373 million USD, which includes non-electrical machinery, project goods, transport equipment. Other non-petroleum products was at 24,920 million USD in 2003 and went up to 1,86,237 million USD, under which pulp and waste paper, synthetic and reclaimed rubber, gold, silver, coal, coke and briquettes, metal ferrous ores and metal scrap, artificial resins, plastic materials, iron and steel, electronic goods, non-ferrous metals, pearls, precious and semi-precious stones are imported. The total imports of the country was 61,394 million USD in 2003, which shot up to 4,90,329 million USD in 2013. This table also shows that in 2013, gold was the single most important distinct import product, followed by electronics and non-electrical machinery, pearls, coal, metals, chemical, etc. Gold has registered a very significant increase in total imports from 6.3% to 10.9%, which has made it a problem area for policy makers, which has necessitated firm action this year. Direction of imports. A major part of India's imports are sourced from Asia itself. 57.7% of overall imports, which are due to the Petroleum Products Bill. Imports from Asia stood at USD 283 billion in 2013, registering growth of 26% over 2003. In fact, there appears to be substantial difference in the value of imports from Asia and the next largest import partner of the country. After Asia, the next largest import sources is Europe, which accounts to USD 91.7 billion, followed by America, which is USD 58.2 billion. Direction of imports from other countries to India is shown in this graph in USD billion. This bar graph provides a comparative picture of import direction in 2003 and 2013. It is interesting to note the shift in import sources. From imports being sourced through a scatter of countries in 2003, we notice a concentration in import source in favor of Asian countries. Asia accounted for 27% of imports in 2003, which increased to 57.7% in 2013. This shift in import source was first distinctly visible in 2007 when imports from jumped 53.7%. The trend post 2007 has been consistent, with Asia being the largest import source for India. For instance, share of imports from Asia in overall imports stood at 54.8% in 2010, 57.8% in 2012 and 57.7% in 2011. The next largest share in import after Asia is that of Europe, followed by America in 2013. The share of America has increased marginally from 9.9% in 2003 to 11.9% in 2013, while that of Europe has declined from 26.3% to 18.7% during this period. Exim policy, or India's foreign trade policy. Foreign trade has gained immense importance in India in the recent years. The export-import policy of India has laid guidelines for India to become a major player in world trade. An all-encompassing, comprehensive view needs to be taken for the overall development of the country's foreign trade. Exim policy, or foreign trade policy, is a set of guidelines and instructions established by the Directorate General of Foreign Trade in matters related to the import and export of goods in India. The foreign trade policy of India is guided by the export-import is known as in short Exim policy of the Indian government and is regulated by the Foreign Trade Development and Regulation Act 1992. DGFT is the main governing body in matters related to Exim policy. The main objective of the Foreign Trade Act is to provide the development and regulation of foreign trade by facilitating imports into and augmenting exports from India. Foreign Trade Act has replaced the earlier law known as the Imports and Exports Act 1947. Exim policy. Indian Exim policy contains various policy related decisions taken by the government in the sphere of foreign trade, that is, with respect to imports and exports from the country and the more especially export promotion measures, policies and procedures related thereto. Trade policy is prepared and announced by central government. India's export-import policy, also known as foreign trade policy, in general aims at developing export potential, improving export performance, encouraging foreign trade and creating favorable balance of payment positions. History of Exim policy of India. In the year 1962, the Government of India appointed a special Exim policy committee to review the government's previous export-import policies. The committee was later on approved by the Government of India. Mr. V.P. Singh, the then Commerce Minister, had announced the Exim policy on the 12th of April 1985. Initially, the Exim policy was introduced for the period of 3 years with main objective to boost the export business in India. The main objective of the Exim policy is as follows: to accelerate the economy from low level of economic activities to high level of economic activities by making it a globally oriented vibrant economy and to derive maximum benefits from expanding global market opportunities. To stimulate sustained economic growth by providing access to essential raw materials, intermediates, components, consumables and capital goods required for augmenting production. To enhance the techno-local strength and efficiency of Indian agriculture, industry and services, thereby improving their competitiveness. To generate new employment opportunities and encourage the attainment of internationally accepted standards of quality. To provide quality consumer products at reasonable prices. India's foreign trade policy. The Union Commerce Ministry, Government of India, announces the integrated foreign trade policy in every 5 years. The FTP, which was announced on August 28, 2009, is an integrated policy for the period of 2009 to 2014. This policy is updated every year with some modifications and new schemes. New schemes come into effect on first day of financial year, that is April 1st every year. Objective of foreign trade policy. To arrest and reverse declining trend of exports is the main aim of the policy. To double India's export of goods and services by 2014. To double India's share in global merchandise trade by 2020 as a long-term aim of this policy. Simplification of the application procedure for availing various benefits. To encourage exports through a mix of measures including fiscal incentives, institutional changes, procedural rationalization and efforts for enhancing market access across the world and diversification of export markets. Target. Export target USD 450 billion for 2013 and 2014. Export growth target 25% every year. 3 pillars: improvement in infrastructure related to export, reduction of transaction cost, provision of full refund of all indirect taxes. Exim Bank. Export-Import Bank of India is the premier export finance institution of the country, set up in 1982 under the Export-Import Bank of India Act 1981. Government of India launched the institution with the mandate to not just enhance exports from India but also to integrate the country's foreign trade and investment with the overall economic growth. Exim Bank of India has been both a catalyst and a key player in the promotion of cross-border trade and investment, commencing operation as a purveyor of export credit like other export credit agencies in the world. Exim Bank of India has evolved into an institution that plays a major role in partnering Indian industries, particularly the small and medium enterprises, through a wide range of products and services offered at all stages of the business cycle, starting from import of technology and export product development to export production, export marketing, pre-shipment and post-shipment and overseas investment. Set up by an Act of Parliament in September 1981. Wholly owned by Government of India. Commenced operations in March 1982. Apex Financial Institution. Exim Bank's objectives: for providing financial assistance to exporters and importers and for functioning as the principal financial institution for coordinating the working of institutions engaged in financing export and import of goods and services with a view to promoting the country's international trade, shall act on business principles with due regard to public interest. Exim Bank is managed by a board of directors which has representatives from the government, Reserve Bank of India, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, a financial institution, public sector banks and the business community. The board of directors constitutes of 16 members, 1 chairman and managing director, 5 directors from Government of India, 3 directors from scheduled banks, 4 directors from professionals or experts, 1 director nominated by RBI, 1 director nominated by IDBI, 1 director nominated by ECGC. The bank's functions are segmented into several operating groups, including Corporate Banking Group, which handles a variety of financing programs for export-oriented units, importers and overseas investment by Indian companies. Project Finance or Trade Finance Group handles the entire range of export credit services such as suppliers credit, pre-shipment agriculture business group to spearhead the initiative to promote and support agricultural exports. The group handles projects and export transactions in the agricultural sector for financing. Small and medium enterprise. The group handles credit proposals from small and medium enterprises under various lending programs of the bank. Export Services Group offers variety of advisory and value-added information services aimed at investment promotion. Export Marketing Services Bank offers assistance to Indian companies to enable them establish their products in overseas markets. The idea behind the service is to promote Indian export. Export Marketing Services covers wide range of export-oriented companies and organizations. EMS Group also covers project exports and export of services. Besides these, the support services groups, which include research and planning, treasury and accounts, loan administration, internal audit, management information services, information technology, legal, human resources management and corporate communications. India's foreign trade has undergone a significant positive change. It is a remarkable achievement that India has transformed itself from a predominantly primary goods exporting country into non-primary goods exporting country. Under imports also, India's dependence on food grains and capital goods has declined. Trade flows for India have grown at a robust pace during the past decade 2003 to 2013. India has expanded its from primary agriculture products to manufactured goods and petro-related products, with Asia emerging as the largest trade partner in recent years. Exports have registered shift in commodity compositions, with share of manufacturing goods coming down to give way to export of petroleum and crude products. In a way, this does reflect India's strength in refining capability. In terms of export destination, Asia has been and continues to be a major partner through the years. This has helped to diversify our exports and buffer to an extent the impact of any slowdown in the Western world. Imports, on the other hand, have registered shifts in country sources as well as commodity. While petroleum share has increased within non-petroleum category, there has been an increase in import of gold, coal and ores in recent times. From the geographically dispersed country source profile, import sources are now concentrated in the Asia region itself. Partly, this is due to the higher import of petroleum products and also the emergence of China as a major trading partner. Thank you.